Oh, yeah,
Let's
recorded.
switch us over to the Mirrorverse, and there we go. Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to do a very special April 1st Mirrorverse episode. For those who may not be in the know, basically the Mirrorverse is kind of an alternate universe version of the normal Star Trek universe. Uh, Basically, it's a lot more gritty, a lot more violent, a lot more quote unquote sexy. It's basically you take all the negative characteristics of someone and you turn them up to 11. Which kind of does bring me to my first announcement. Because this is a Mirrorverse episode, I it's I how do I want to say this? I'm not going to say there's going to be fades to black, either because of gory content or sex content, things of that nature, but again, it is the Mirrorverse, so things like that might be commonplace here. It really just depends on my players and how they interact with NPCs. So obviously, if you're watching this on the stream, you should have already gotten the mature content warning. If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully you got the same thing. If not, you might want to reconsider having any kids around. Just, fair warning. The other kind of announcement is, as I said yesterday during the Ophion game, this particular session is largely dependent on player RP. So this could be an hour and 30-minute session. This could be a runover session. We'll see what happens. But without any further ado, I actually have a small primer to open things up. And then we're going to introduce all of our Mirrorverse characters, starting with Matic and working our way up. All right, so here's the primer. The year is 2372. The Terran Empire has recently finished development of a new secret weapon, the Galaxy-class warship known as the Enterprise. A small fleet of the Klingon-Cardassian Alliance was sent to acquire this vessel, and every single ship was lost with all hands. It was a stunning defeat, and will likely embolden the Terran Empire unless something is done. That's where you come in. The IKS Pak'Mona is one of the best ships the Klingon-Cardassian Alliance has to offer. It is a Negvar class, relatively fresh from the shipyards. Between its powerful shields, extensive fightercraft bay, and overcharged disruptors, the Pak'Mona is well equipped to deal with the Enterprise. You are all members of the crew under General B'Etor, a rather ruthless female Klingon officer whose sister, Lursa, serves as regent. Your mission, as General B'Etor has described it, is to find the Enterprise, cripple it, take the crew into slavery, and then drag the husk of the ship back to Kronos so that all may see its burning husk. And, with that said, we're going to start at the bottom of the list in Discord and work our way up. So, Matic, if you would care to introduce your character, give us the name, rank, and any small bit of blurb you'd like everyone to know.
All right. Today I will be playing Lieutenant Savia Sarath Matic. She is an Andorian woman who is a freed Borg. She still has some of the sensor implants. She still has cybernetic eyes. Her previous designation was 2 of 8. And so other freed Borg and other Borg will probably refer to her as such.
Okay. Up next, we have Janice. Janice, who are you playing today?
I'm playing Agak Nog. I am basically a special security agent put on the ship. Most of the crew doesn't know what I'm there. I'm just basically a senior ranking military person that rolls around and makes sure everybody follows the rules of the Empire and the basically what's the name of this organization we work for right now?
The Klingon-Cardassian Alliance.
Yeah, there you go. Klingon Cardassian Alliance. It's not just the Empire, I'm thinking. Just Klingons. So that's what I'm here for, and that's about everybody knows about me.
All right. Up next, we have Crowley. Crowley, who are you playing today?
I am formerly known as Crowley. I am now known as Victus of Borg. Assimilated at a young age, and given a special identity and unique name of Victus. I am the voice of the Borg, or what's left of them. If you come to the engineering deck, you better have a good reason. You join my miniature hive. I knew of this interesting development, and I've allied myself with Larsa and Vitor. I am their chief engineer. I have specialized and augmented this vessel with Borg technology, making the hull a lot stronger, and giving a nice glow to the engines.
Okay. And then finally, Tahan. Tahan, who are you playing today?
So I'm playing Athos Tahan, Trill. Unlike my Prime Universe counterpart, I never fell off the mountain climbing with Curzon decks. I pushed him down. I've been in service as a security and tactical officer for the Klingon Cardassian Alliance for years now, but I'm most valuable as an intelligence officer. I trust no one, and that's why I have a personal bodyguard, a young Bajoran named Jero Los. My primary value is I suffer so that I may better understand how to make my enemies suffer.
Okay. So we're actually going to open up with Mirror Tahan and Jero Los. Small thing I forgot to say. This is a pseudo advertisement for the new Klingon tile set from Modifius Entertainment. We will be using them extensively this session. So, hey, Modifius, you're welcome. Tahan, you and Los are currently in a part of the ship, which is a kind of a catwalk over an abyss. And as you are walking across this catwalk, from the doors both to the north and south of you on this map, begin to appear Klingons and Cardassians. And you would know immediately that this is an ambush. So how would you like to respond?
Tahan will call out to the unimportant Bex. And, gentlemen, I believe you'll find the traitor in my custody. And he turns around and he pulls out a phaser against Los.
Okay. So Los, I'm going to do a bit of rolling here behind the screen. I normally don't do this, but hey, it's the Mirrorverse. I'm going to break a few rules here sometimes. So let's see. All right. So what Los is going to do is he is going to charge forward at Tahan, so he obviously doesn't get vaporized by this disruptor. And Tahan, if you could roll me a daring plus security for your melee attack. Your magic number to beat is you need 3 successes here. Otherwise, Los will get the advantage on you.
Okay.
All right, yeah, you came close, but 3 was what you needed. So what happens is Los rushes forward, and in a stunning display of agility and strength, basically pulls a Vader and sort of picks up Tahan, holds him aloft for a moment, and then throws him over the side into the abyss. And now, Tahan, if you would care to introduce your real character for this mission.
My real character for this mission is Jero Los, apprentice to Athos Tahan, and to the new, if I have anything to say about it, the new tactical chief of this ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, small little bait and switch there. The one thing I forgot to note is that during this whole process, Tahan's sword would have been dropped when you picked him up. So you could very well take the sword for your own. And it is the same sword that Hylong would have given the captain in the regular universe.
I will spend a moment on the ground, and then I'll pick myself up, dust off my pants, put the sword away, and look to the unimportant Cardassians and Klingons in the room, and... What? You didn't get any of the fun?
You owe us one, Los.
Next time. I'll kill you later.
So the Klingons walk off kind of laughing in a typical Klingon fashions, and the Cardassians just share a look, shrug, and they too kind of walk off. All right. So that is the first scene I wanted to get out of the way. So before I kick off with the main plot, as you all know, I like to give players a little bit of time to RP. So would anyone have a particular scene they'd like to get out of the way in the Mirrorverse? No matter how silly it might be, before we go into the main plot.
I'd like to talk to Jarl Los in a whatever would go for a bar or lounge on this thing.
Let's say you corner him in a corridor. I think that's the closest thing I've got.
Okay, that works for me.
Let's see. So you are here, and Los is here. Yeah, and there you go. We'll say this is probably something around 30 minutes to an hour after the assassination has taken place. So word is starting to get around ship.
Nice.
But yeah.
Jaro, it's good to see you. What happened to your boss?
I wish it were good to say it were good to see you. What happened to Tahan? I spit on the ground. You can definitely see the color of blood wine in the spit. He got what was coming to him. He was a traitor. He acted like a Romulan, always looking for information instead of targets.
Well, it's good to see that you made me very easy money. He had paid me to do something similar to you. But now that he's gone, I'll just keep his money. But also keep an eye on you. And I'm going to basically take out a little pad that basically would have my account on it, and I just kind of flip it around and go, that'll buy me several women. And then I put the pad away and chuckle as I walk past him. I'll see you at the end of my sword later, and walk on.
Okay.
I just take another sip of, or another, not a sip, but a big glug of more blood wine, and I wipe my sleeve, mixing it with Tahan's blood on the end of the sleeve.
Very nice. All right. Anyone else? Matic, Victus?
I am going to be in engineering.
Okay. I do have a map for engineering.
And I'm going to be just having the simulation tubes inside the console. Mm-hmm. Like that one drone did on Voyager. He was just accessing the computer and going through it. I figured I'm just doing some minor tweaks and improvements aboard the engine.
Okay.
And I'm going to come up to the bridge and say, "My queen, the engines are purring. We're all primed and ready for anything."
General Bator replies, "That is good. I expect nothing less from Victus of Borg."
I aim to please. If you happen to have any stragglers, please send them down to engineering. I can increase the number of my workforce.
I will see to it that Hylong passes along her refuse when she is done with them.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay. And then Mavic, did you have anything you wanted to do as I... Where's Sickbay? There's Sickbay.
Would Tahan's body have shown up at my table at some point?
We'll say at this point, yeah. Someone, some unimportant Beck has dragged in what remains of Tahan. It was a rather nasty fall. I don't want to say it's quite pancaked, but yeah, it's a pretty grisly sight.
He's basically a bag of blood water.
Kinda, yeah.
I'll do a quick autopsy on what's left of him.
Okay. Sure.
Um,
Let's do some quick momentum gains here.
all right.
If you want to roll me a reason plus medicine, difficulty 0. Because you never know when you guys might need momentum.
Xenobiology.
I'll allow it. All right, 2 momentum. So it's pretty much what you'd expect. The fall is what killed him. There are some stab wounds as well, so maybe Los got in a few good, jabs with a dagger. Also, his liver is shot to shit. Apparently, Tahan was hitting the blood wine a little hard.
Um, once how much of the body is good? Like if there were some implant. Okay.
Um, I'd say anything of use on the body, even implant wise, is gone at this point. It's like a hunk of meat, is how grisly I would go with the description.
All right. I'll look back over my shoulder. Come here.
All right, so one of your assistant comes over. He says, "Yes, doctor."
Space it. I don't want to see it on my table anymore.
Understood, ma'am. And the Cardassian goes to the table, picks it up, begins dragging out this corpse, and there's just a blood stain on the deck as he drags it along. Of course, this is your sick bay, so bloodstains are kind of commonplace.
She goes over to the console.
Mm-hmm.
Victus, you hear me?
Yes, number 2.
You know I don't like being called that.
I'm sorry. 2 of 8. Is that better?
I'm no longer one of you.
You will always be one of us.
Regardless, the Trill you were asking me about, wondering when he'd finally get killed. He took too big of a fall. His body's no good to you.
Disappointing. Is there anything else? 2 of 8.
None that I could think of right now, Taval.
You were always the clever one. Remember, if you want to see him again, you will provide me more bodies. Send one of your nurses down. I'm sure you're due for a replacement.
Would the other nurse in here have heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He's on his way. Savia pulls out a knife and looks at him and says, "Easy way or hard way?"
The unimportant Gil kind of looks between you and the door, and I'm going to say that Maddox, you're no stranger to what he's about to do. He is going to start. His hand's going to start hovering towards his belt, where he's got a disruptor. But if you wanted to act before he got there, you certainly can.
Knowing that I've had to do this before,
Mm-hmm.
I would have put in a force because I'll be here at this console.
Right.
I would have had I would have come to an arrangement with Victus to put a Borg force field here,
Okay.
like just in that little, just like meh, like that's force field.
Okay.
And so I want to hit the button on the console to start that up.
Okay. So the air between you two shimmers, and just in time as the Gil proffers up the disruptor pistol and fires off several shots, but Borg shields are pretty damn resilient and adaptive, and it only takes but one shot before the shields completely adapt to this disruptor fire, and you are completely safe behind these shields.
As she's firing, I'm assuming one of these is a turbo lift or something like that there, right? Or near one?
They're all doors. The turbo lifts are down here to the south. These kind of octagon-looking things.
I don't think... Did she turn off the comms?
No.
No? Alright, I'm going to go up there.
Okay. Let's see. Where is your token? There is your token. All right, you arrive.
Alright. I was... Just the moment I walk in, I just scan around and look towards the unimportant gill. And my right arm drops for a split second, and a long blade extends out.
Okay.
I'm going to charge him.
All right. Go right ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, daring plus security. Difficulty is a 1. He does get to oppose. Survey says you need at least 1 success to succeed. And yes, I did get both of your whispers, and I will respond to them in kind. So interestingly, the gill is going to not only dodge out of the way of Victus's attack.
Sorry, I have bold.
Oh.
For security, so I want to re-roll.
Well, let me ask, did you buy die with threat? Because that's how bold activates.
Can I?
You needed to do it before the roll, unfortunately.
Okay.
So the gill's going to get a responsive attack on you. Luckily, he's just a normal Cardassian, so he doesn't do a whole lot of damage, hopefully. Okay, this is interesting. So Victus, do you have any resistance?
Yes, I have a personal force field that gives me resistance 4. That gives you 2 threat, though.
Okay. So in that case, I think you only take just the 1 bit of stress damage. But because an effect was rolled, you are knocked on your ass, which is, again, very interesting.
I just smile.
Yeah. And at this point, I guess we'll put people in initiative for the current moment. All right. So Matic, it would be your turn after seeing this, and then it would be the gill's turn.
All right. While the gill was distracted by Victus, I would have drawn my disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
Temporarily drop the force field and then shoot at the gill.
Okay. That would be a control plus security, difficulty 2.
I'll give you a threat for an extra dice.
I will always take threat.
Team dynamics, because we're working as a team to kill this guy?
I'll allow it.
All right.
Why do I got a suspicion the threat is going to be used substantially in this session?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This gill is just going to survive somehow.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you have a reroll available, like via bold, your disruptor fire is going to miss. All right.
No, I don't.
All right, so the gill is going to pretty much Victus is on his ass, so he's going to kind of aim the disruptor square at Victus's head and fire. Of course, watch him miss. Oh, he does not miss. Ooh, okay. This again could be very interesting. Let's see. Yes.
Question, GM.
Yes.
Would this internal systems be picking up this firing?
Oh yeah. Someone on the bridge, an ops. I think you're doing ops. Yeah, you would get notified of this.
Okay. Well, I don't know how long it would take, but as a my kind of background, as you know, this would be very entertaining to me.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, this might be over by the time I got here because.
But
I would progress in this general direction in a respectable amount of time, of course.
Right. I'll say you'll arrive next round.
Raj.
All right. So let's see how much damage this disruptor does.
Do I get a counter?
Say again.
Do I get a counter? Was it a opponent's attack?
No.
He's shooting you, not
Yeah,
melee.
he's shooting you, not melee.
Okay.
So that's another 5 damage. Again, reduced by your resistance. And he kind of looks a bit stymied by the fact that it's not really hurting you. Like, you know, obviously your force field is such that it's hard to do damage to you, but at the same time, it's like, wow. So we now come back around to Victus.
My small smile has turned into a wide, unnaturally big grin.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to do bold
Okay.
for security. And I'm going to try and basically shove that blade up underneath his ribcage and up through him.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and daring plus security. Let's see what he rolls. You only need 1 success to win.
So the bold gives me the ability to reroll a dice.
If you
If you
buy
spend a
with threat, yes.
Yeah, so I'm buying the threat for this. I'm using the threat for this.
Okay.
And so okay, let's reroll. I'm also going to buy a dice with the momentum we have.
Okay. And since this
that's
is the
just-
Mirrorverse, this is not a democracy. If anybody wants momentum, they just take it.
Yep.
Nice.
So security 3.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Jesus.
So that's 4 momentum. And yeah, I'm just going to say narratively with that many successes, yeah, you run the skill through and even more blood is just splattered everywhere as what's basically 2 halves of this Cardassian fall backwards onto the bed and split open, one to either side of the bed. It was a very gory sight.
You always did enjoy playing with your food.
You'll make a good drone. And I was kind of look to the side, as if I'm communicating with the drone, and I want one to come up.
Okay. It is now about this time that Nog arrives.
As he arrives, he gets to see, and Shavi gets to see, 1 of 8, Matic. And I just look to him and nod toward the bifurcated body so he gets taken away.
All right. So yeah, obviously the fight's over, Nog, but I don't know. How would you respond to all this?
Walking in, I mean, obviously, I've been briefed by, by the ship's staff that for some reason people keep disappearing out of this room. So obviously, I have an idea what's going on. And I just walk in and I look around and I was like, our lord of this ship does not like when you keep using our people this way. I mean, we all can't be drones.
No, they can't.
Your skills with this ship only go so far. Do not keep pressing my patience.
Make sure you're not on engineering deck without permission.
I have rights to be anywhere on this ship. If I wish to come down there, you shall see it. Medic, treat your people with pain, but stop having them killed.
I was merely defending myself, and Victus just happened to be on the line and came and helped me.
I see. If you don't think our systems are being monitored and communications mistaken, so you might want to use your drone skills, communicate next time, so I don't have to come down here and see this mess. And I just turn around and walk out.
All right. So you walk on out.
I think Nog might run into me in the hallways sometime between this scene and the next.
Okay. Sure.
Jesus.
Why not? We go back to the corridor. And yeah, you run
Well,
into
guys,
each
it's
other
been
again.
fun playing. Looks like I'm getting dead already.
No, what you actually see is Los is carrying like the standard duffel bag, except this time it's Klingon Cardassian. And he's walking up to what was once Tahan's personal quarters, and he's typing in a code, and he just gives you a look. It's like, first come, first serve. And I just walk through into the room and lock the door.
Okay.
So I didn't actually need anyone else except someone to see that. And then once I'm in the room, I'm just going to start pouring through all of Tahan's intelligence reports. And I am looking the subject I care about most is the one I whispered to you about.
Yeah, I have stuff for that already, and you will get some information later on.
All right, sounds good. Until I'm needed on duty or something, I'm going to be reviewing all this.
All right. Well,
And
go ahead.
just for my response, this is the cold, dark world of what Star Trek is. So that's pretty much the rule of law when it comes to pirates, and it doesn't even faze me. I just walk by like I didn't even see him.
Okay. All right. So not to put things along too much, but we are going to now cut to about 30 minutes later. General B'Etor has called a meeting of her senior staff. And I believe we're on this map now. So to describe the NPCs that are here, there is a Glenn Borrell. She is the helm officer. There is Sergeant Vorb. She is also an intelligence officer. Then you have Interrogator Hylong. Hylong in this universe differs from her normal counterpart is that apparently Soreto Draco in this universe have kind of blue skin and red hair. But otherwise she looks pretty much the same. Maybe, you know, in a more revealing outfit, but again, it's Mirrorverse. That thing's kind of commonplace. But in any event, once everyone has kind of gathered, General B'Etor, I don't know why it says Captain, General B'Etor kind of smiles and puts both of her hands down on the war room table and says, "We will be arriving at the system containing the ISS Enterprise shortly. I want an update from everyone."
The engineering deck, of course, is operation at peak proficiency. Perfection, in other terms.
Well, and then I look over. I says, "I would hope so. You keep adding people to your department."
I only add those that I find useful and have talent. You're safe from being added to my collective.
Ah, good. That means Los will never have any use for that, for being down there.
I'm taking a look at the display on this table here, and who is responsible? I asked this out loud. Who's responsible for this display? Whose information is this?
Vorb speaks up and says, "That would be mine, sir."
This is an old, outdated schematic. The actual Enterprise has 3 warp engines and a larger phaser on the bottom of this saucer section. If we are to defeat them in battle, we must know our enemy well.
Vorb does look a little bit stymied, and she says, "This is the information we stole from their shipyards. If they added anything, then our fleet would have reported it back. Are you sure you're not the one with faulty information?"
When I killed that traitorous Tahan, I went through every piece of information he neglected to share with you. And I touch my pad and I update it with the stuff that he had stolen.
Okay. So yeah, the display on the screen, of course, it came like this, so I don't have an edit.
No, but this is just a way for me to talk down my superior.
Yeah. Basically, the screen does change, and it does show the updated, Galaxy Refit class instead of the normal one we see there. And General B'Etor actually kind of gives a loud laugh and goes, "Oh, I think I'm going to like you, Los. Glad you're a competent security officer."
I will give her the salute and for the alliance.
Indeed. And B'Etor then looks between Maddock and Borrell and says, "What about you two? Do you have anything to report?"
One of my nurses attacked me, and Victus happened to aid me in my defense. I could use an extra one if there's someone who needs to be sent down.
I will see to it that the quartermaster sends you someone new. Try not to break this one.
But that's half the fun.
Indeed. And then Beitor looks to Hailong and says, Interrogator, do you have any information for us? And, of course, I can't do a female voice for shit, but Hailong does reply in a very dominant and seductive way. Says, well, I have been playing with my toys, and I've found that there's somewhat of a plot aboard this ship. If you all direct your attention here. And she changes the screen from a display of the Galaxy class, and she shows a schematic of the interior of the Pak'Mona. And she says, I have found no less than 3 explosive devices already, thanks to my wonderful interrogational skills. I don't trust that this is all of them. Someone, or many someones, is very responsible for disrupting our very important mission. And Beitor just kind of stares and then looks to basically her right-hand man, Nogue, and says, what do you know of this?
I long did not share this information with me prior to this meeting. I will talk to her and get more detailed information after this meeting's over. And I will find these people, and I will bring their heads for your desk, ma'am.
I turn to Nogue, and I say, I believe it was your men who came for Tahan. Am I wrong?
Maybe.
Well, having looked through Tahan's reports, while he may have been a traitorous bastard, he was no fool. He did not mention any plan or plot with these bombs. But we can't rule out that the traitor's already dead. However, there's no reason to expose ourselves to that risk. If there's a traitor, he may still be among us. And then, as soon as I mention Tahan, I've got my left hand on the pommel of his sword, and I just make eye contact with Hailong to see what she does. And I kind of play with the sword a little bit. I pull it out of the hilt, and I just slam it back down to make a loud clank sound of the sword in the sheath.
Okay. Hailong does notice this, and she kind of licks her lips, but does not say anything for the current moment.
My queen, I would like to take this individual she's interrogated and assimilate him. Any memories he might have held or withheld from her would be known to me.
Beitor looks to Hailong, and Hailong says, his mind's already been broken 7 ways to Sunday, as the Terrans would say, but be my guest.
Very well. I also have my drone sweep the engineering deck to look for any more of these explosive devices.
Beitor says, that would be prudent. I want a full security sweep of the ship.
Yes, my queen.
Without asking, I move my hands to controls to pull up information on the specific schematic of the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to figure out how they're made. Are they replicated? Are they fashioned together with just stand-around parts?
I think this would be a, how about an insight plus security, or maybe an insight plus engineering? Either one I would think would apply.
I'll take security. Okay. And if it's replicated, would my transporter replicators focus apply?
I'll allow it because it could potentially apply here, and the difficulty here would be a 3. So you might want to spend momentum.
How much we have? 5. Difficulty 3. I'll spend 3 momentum.
Okay.
While he's doing that, did she have the bombs with her?
Hailong, no. She would have uploaded a schematic to the screen before all of you.
Alright.
Ooh, I see green.
That's 4 successes.
So 1 momentum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Loesch, you are able to determine that some of the components are indeed replicated. More specifically, the timer and the fuse. However, the actual explosive component, that can't be replicated, at least as far as I can tell in the Star Trek universe, that can't just replicate C4. The explosive material seems to be cannibalized from a photon warhead.
I want to assimilate to the console and download the data of the power source of these devices, like what energy they're using to trigger the explosion.
Okay. It's actually a very basic, simple timer. It literally counts down from a pre-designated time and, sends the detonation signal.
Is any energy coming off of it? Any radiation?
No, which makes this particular type of bomb very hard to find.
I will then download the schematics of it and send it to my drones for them to start searching.
Okay.
Every inch.
We can also assume that our trader is smart enough to vary his methods. We should also be on the lookout for other forms of sabotage. I've compiled a list of additional explosives that can be manufactured with little to no expertise. We should be on the lookout for these as well.
Beitor nods and says, "Very well. Is there anything else that someone wishes to bring to the table? If not, I have a plate of gagh waiting for me in my quarters."
I will keep you informed of the sweep. After my drones are done with the engineering deck, I would request permission to send them up to the rest of the ship.
So long as you don't go on another assimilation spree, that is acceptable.
As long as the crew knows not to stand in their way.
Yes, this is search, not assimilate. Make sure your people understand that very well.
Make sure your people aren't trying to hide anything, like a bomb.
Very well. You are all dismissed. And
Stand for your lord, you fools! As she gets ready to walk out.
yeah, I would have assumed that there weren't any chairs to this. Like all of you were standing. So.
Oh well, okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
No, it's okay. But yeah, Beitor does indeed walk on out. And as you kind of filter out, I did have 2 quick little sidebars. Los, you are waylaid by Hailong, unless you linger behind. I will say over here-ish. And, go ahead.
That's fine. I did want to have a quick chat with Nogue.
Okay, let's do that first.
This would be after the others have left the room, and I guess before I run into Hailong.
Okay, yeah, Hailong will wait outside then.
I'm actually going to wait next to Hailong.
Okay. Put you out there.
How soundproof are these doors?
Pretty soundproof. It is Klingon
All
design.
right. I'll walk to the other side of the room and Nogue.
Yes.
How is it possible that we trust this Borg in our ship? The more he assimilates, the more of the crew is under his control and not General Beitor's.
I understand. But for some reason, our Lord has chosen to allow this person or being to be on our ship. I watch him closely, but I have warned him several times to stay in his area, not to wander without permission. But he is arrogant like most Borg.
And don't you think that his drone army is the one, rather than searching for bombs, they're searching for places to put bombs? Just a thought. And for General Beitor, and then I will begin my way out of the room.
Okay. So as you're heading your way out,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Before he leaves, I whisper over my shoulder, or not whisper, but like kind of say over my shoulder, you do realize that Hailong was very close with the person you killed. Very close. And I just kind of, saunter off in my arrogant way to go see the next person.
All right. I'm going to take a big, deep breath and kind of relax my muscles a bit, crack my neck, and just start playing out in my head the opening sequence to a duel.
Oh, very well. All right. So before Los comes out, though, Matic, you are waylaid by Sergeant Vorv. And she kind of pulls you over to the corner and says, Dr. Matic, I have some news for you may not like.
I'm waiting.
After your display earlier in the sickbay, there are whisperings among that group that they might try to usurp you in the near future.
I have an agreement with people aboard. I have an agreement with Victus. I can very well ask him to send a couple drones to protect me. I'm not worried about some of your Beck or Gil.
How do you know I was not referring to Victus himself?
He may be a fool, and he may be self-important and self-righteous, but he's still Vulcan, deep down.
Like that matters. And Vorv just kind of laughs and says, Very well, I have delivered the message I set out to deliver. It is your life. It is not mine. And unless you stop Vorv, she will kind of head out. Alright. So the next kind of small little scene that plays out, Los, as you start to walk past Hai Long, what she does is she meets you kind of halfway, and in a very imposing and dominant fashion, she kind of pushes you against one of the walls and puts a hand right above your shoulder. And she's taller than you, so she looks down on you as well. And she says, I see you have my little plaything sword. I hope you know what that means.
I assume you need a new plaything.
You catch on quickly. I expect you in my quarters later this evening.
I suppose I could be persuaded.
She gives a very Klingon-like growl and licks her lips again, but then kind of straightens back up and heads out, unless you stop her.
I'll watch her walk away.
Okay. And then,
Are these two Becks in the room?
the unimportant Becks? Nah, they're just standing guard.
Oh, but they were here to watch.
Yeah, they would have seen all of this. As would Victus and Matic if they're still there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'll head back to my quarters and it's like, you're welcome for the show.
Wasn't a very good show.
Short and unimportant.
Like Tahan.
I'm going to walk up to Savi.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening?
What do you mean?
I have Vulcan ears. Also implants.
Don't worry, I still feel your thoughts. We haven't lost our connection that much.
Good. After the search is done, you can come down to engineering and spend time with John. I'll make sure he's free. For an hour. And I'll walk away and go down to Turbolift.
As you walk away, she'll reach out and grab you.
Okay.
Sergeant Vorv. She's trying to give me the idea that you want me to rejoin the collective, which I'm sure you do, but obviously I serve you much better freed than as one of your mindless drones. She's also saying that future nurses of mine may want to become a doctor themselves. We have an arrangement. I don't know if they would make the same arrangement with you.
I only have an arrangement with you because you were once part of the collective. You know the lure of perfection. These fools think they can approach me. Let them. They know what happens when they come down to the engineering decks. If they keep approaching me, though, you will find your staff very short-handed. And if you think I want to turn everyone into a Borg drone, you are correct. But right now we have a bigger threat, and that's the Terran Empire.
I don't care how many of them you assimilate. I just need at least one who can carry the bodies to the airlock.
Very well. I'll keep a drone posted in Sickbay at all times.
You have
It
my
won't.
thanks, Victus.
It won't be John. But he'll still be kept close by me. Is that everything?
For now.
Good day, 2 of 8.
Good day, Taval.
Now I'll head down.
Okay. All right. With that scene out of the way, let me just play token cleanup here a little bit. Anyone have any particular scenes they wanted to get out of the way? Again, this is kind of an RP moment before story things happen.
Gonna go and assimilate that person Hylong is interrogating.
Okay. He is more or less brought in by some Beck and just kind of thrown very unceremoniously to the wolves in engineering.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. A drone gets a chance to stick him with the assimilation tubes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, what would you learn? Let me see. True to Hylong's words, you don't really get much more information than what she's already found out. There does appear to be some sort of conspiracy aboard, or at least that's what this individual believed, that he was part of a greater conspiracy. But you don't get any names or faces. You get the sense that this conspiracy communicated purely by dead drops and anonymous texts.
Alright. Anonymous text, though, that's through the computers.
Yes, but the only one that would have access, unless you, of course, start to mess with the computers, would be No, or Nog. Nog is the only one besides Baitor that would have the clearance to, trawl messages.
I'm going to communicate... actually, I'm going to go to Baitor.
Okay. Where would you like to see Baitor?
Wherever she's at.
At this point, we'll say she's on the bridge, so we can finally show off the bridge map. And apparently I didn't copy your token here, so let me do that quick. There you go. So yeah, you poke your head in, and, they are all, as you can see, at their stations. Glyn is at helm, Vorv is at sensors, Los is at tactical, Nog is at ops, and then you have two NPCs that nobody really cares about.
I'll walk up right behind her, up to the side there.
Mm-hmm.
My queen.
She turns and says, "Yes, Victus, what do you want?"
The interrogated individual has been assimilated. Apparently they're communicating through dead drops and text messages. I would like permission to access the computers.
Coordinate with Nog. But if I find that you put another Borg implant into my computers, we will have a talk. And she gives you a very Klingon grin.
I'll grin right back. Like, I do enjoy your talks. They're very informative. And I'll just nod my head and I'll walk up to Nug.
Okay.
I've been given
just want-
permission.
Oop, go ahead.
I've been given permission to look through the computers. Down the side.
Oh, I will download all of our stuff if you're looking for information, and I will isolate a computer for you to use. Accessing central computer is not necessary for this task.
It is if they're hiding their trails through the systems. You can watch and observe if you wish. I will do it at your pace and not use the assimilation tubes.
Like you had a choice about using assimilation tubes. And I will step aside and let him access my console. But
Okay.
the whole time, I have my nice disruptor that has been modified, of course, for their damn shields. Basically pointed at his skull.
Okay. So Victus, you trawling through the database. I would say this could be either a reason plus security, a insight plus security, or possibly even a maybe a reason plus command. Maybe reason plus command. It's kind of a stretch, but I could see it happening. And of course, if you have an argument for something else, feel free. The difficulty here would be a 4.
Okay. I will use bold to
Okay.
buy the reroll for security. I'll
Okay.
use reason security, and I'm going to burn our last 3 momentum to get 2 more dice.
Okay. One small note: if you do buy with threat, it is like spending momentum. So, you would the next die you would buy with momentum would be 2, not 1.
Well, the bold is a reroll, correct?
Well, yeah, but you still buy a dice with threat.
All right.
So I think you still have the 1 momentum.
All right. I'll take that then. There you go.
But yeah, go ahead and let's see what your roll is.
Security. So I'm at 3 dice.
1 from threat, 1 from momentum, so 4 die.
4 dice. Okay. And I have a focus for this.
Close, but unless you have a reroll via determination.
Would
Well,
not the ship assist him on this?
I
I mean, he's using ship's computers. I'm just saying. I mean, he's accessing the ship's abilities.
This is a fair argument. Yes, let's do a ship assist. The ship will assist with, we'll say computers plus security. And
I'll roll that.
You roll that, okay?
Yeah, shit. You said
Computers and security,
Raj computers.
and it always has a focus because I know it's
Yep.
going to pop up and ask.
Yep.
So bold, let's see, whenever you attempt a task with a discipline, and you buy 1 more d20 by adding threat, you may re-roll a single d20.
Oh yeah, so go ahead and re-roll one of those zeros, because this could get you momentum.
I mean, it is the mirror universe. For all we know, this ship might be fighting him.
Okay.
All right. Sure enough, both Nogue and Victus, you're going to come across these same sort of logs because you're working together, quote unquote. And the logs do seem to indicate that there have been several secret meetings in places like the cargo bays, in places like unused corridors. Unfortunately, again, you don't get any names. But you do get security times, for example, of when people were in certain areas. It's not 100% precise. Like you can't say that Hailong was in the her torture chamber from X to Y. Obviously, you can deduce that, but basically, what I'm trying to communicate is there is a gap in the logs that shouldn't be there.
Okay. So, with this realization, I slowly holster my my phaser or my disruptor, and we are the only 2 that can see this right now.
At the moment, yes.
Okay. Victus, we have had our differences, but we both have served the Lord. Let us keep this information between me and you and put in cameras or upgraded sensors, try to detect who these people are. If we tell anybody else, we are basically announcing that.
You wish to keep this secret from the general.
I will be concerned with that. I serve our Lord and I serve our kingdom. I will take the risk, keep it as secret as possible, because even her sometimes says things that would let this information out because of her great character. She sometimes speaks without thinking who's around her.
Very well. And I will head back down to engineering.
Okay. What's the next scene according to Matt's? Ah, yes. So Victus, on your way back down to engineering, you get a report from one of your drones that a explosive device has been found, but before they can disarm it, there is an explosion outside of main engineering, and the entire ship rocks. And those of you on the bridge would see that you have dropped out of warp temporarily. And, of course, General Bator goes, "What is going on? Report!"
Am I still on the bridge, or am I, like, in turbo lift?
You are in turbo lift at the moment.
Alright.
Okay, so, my lord, we have lost warp speed. There has been an explosion near engineering. I will assist with the investigation, and basically, I freaking bolt, just because if there's one, there could be more.
Can I take the deploy security task?
Sure.
I don't know how to do it. I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got to look it up, too. It is a presence plus security. The difficulty would be a 1.
What's the damage report I'm getting for my drones?
I'll get to that in a moment.
I'm also going to use the bold security talent, so I'll buy an extra D20 with threat.
Yay, threat. I almost thought about showing you guys how much threat I started with so you guys could see my pool, but, you know, it's kind of insane at this point.
Yeah, Victus is meant to give you threat. I figure it works, though.
You've got to be sitting at least 13 or 15 threat right now.
Yeah. So you would get a momentum.
I'm wondering if I reroll the 14. There's only a 5% chance it's bad. I'll reroll that.
I was going to say, what's the worst you can do? Roll a complication?
Oh.
Well, let's get that 20. Oh, and it's another success.
All right, so you have 2 momentum then, or a total of 3. Yeah, so Loesch, you deploy some security teams down to engineering. And we're going to cut to engineering as Victus does arrive. Well, it seems that my tokens didn't save for whatever, but basically what I'd like you to imagine is that this entire area, like the antechamber before the main warp core, is completely scorched. And any drones that were in the area have been completely... Well, not completely. They are charred and otherwise dead. Like, they are completely beyond recovery. There are a grand total of 6 drones. But, small bit of good news. As you walk in, you do get reports from those that are in the main engineering room proper that the main warp core was not affected and that the reason you dropped out of warp was due to a security measure.
No fires or anything like that?
There are some lingering bits of flame in this kind of antechamber, but the fire suppressant systems are doing their job.
Alright. I will look at these 2 drones and radio up to General Bator.
Okay.
I'm down 2 drones. Engineering seems to be stable, minor damage. Warp core was protected. Security measures drop us out of warp just in case.
I understand. I want us back at warp speed immediately.
Understood. I'm going to examine. Like, I'm just going to stick one with my simulator tubes just to try and download whatever data is in its head.
Okay.
Its
Probably a
last sight.
D100. Just to see what you get. Yeah, you're not gonna get much. You'll maybe get like the few moments before the explosion got off. But other than that, you don't really get any useful data. Like, you relive the drone's last moments, but yeah, that's it.
I will then, head inside and start assessing repairs.
Okay. Nogue, were you heading down?
Yes, I was heading down to the engineering area.
Wanted to be sure. You will come in along with a small security team. Let me just grab those tokens real fast. Probably should have made these actual characters, but you know. So you'll arrive with, we'll say, 3 individuals backing you up. So 3 Becks.
Okay. I basically I open the door between engineering. I don't step in. I just open the door between the ante room and the engineering, and ask Victus what he would like to do with his drones.
I will break them down for components. I'm going to raise a force field around the warp core just to protect it if another blast is to go off.
Very well. I will leave the drones where they sit, and then I instruct the Becks. There are 2 of the Becks that take the old drone positions for guarding, and they tell the 3rd one to start doing basically a meter by meter search for any further explosives in the anteroom. But they are strictly instructed to not enter engineering without my permission.
Understood. All right, so yeah, the 2 of the Becks take up guard positions on either side of the main door, and the other one begins sweeping the room for stuff.
While this is happening, I am deploying a force field around the warp core.
Okay.
And accessing environmental controls for the engineering room itself.
Okay.
I am linking it to me that I can vent Atmo at a moment's notice.
Okay. Interesting choice.
And yeah, I'll just continue with repairs.
All right.
Before I leave, I will do any kind of type of scan that I have available to me. You know, obviously, I probably don't have like a major tool, but whatever I can do a quick scan before I leave of, the explosive type or any kind of material that's left over that is not, of course, drone blood and guts.
Okay. Roll me a reason plus science. Difficulty is a 3.
A reason plus science. This is going to be awesomely bad. Reason plus science, and let's see. So because of my background in espionage, basically I probably have used explosives because I'm the bad guy version. Could I use my espionage as a focus?
Sure.
Okay. And yeah.
Yeah. You're not able to pick up much. Either the explosive was just that good, or there's just too much interference from the warp core.
Understood.
I'm going to have 2 of the drones go to any access point to the engineering deck. Any like Jeffrey tubes entrance and stuff like that there. They're going to weld them shut.
Okay. So the only way in then would be the main door?
Yep.
Okay.
Any tunnels that to access the warp core, of course, those are typically isolated. Those don't need to be good rolled. It's anything that could intrude into engineering.
Okay. Noted. All right. With that done, again, small bit of RP opportunity. Did anyone want to do anything? Matic, Los, etc.
Can I scan medbay just to make sure that there isn't an explosive in there?
You can indeed. If you would care to roll me a Reason plus Science, the difficulty would be a 3.
Imagine this guy came back. I was like, okay, Bob, I'm back. Where's Bob? Where's Bob? Why is there so much blood over there?
He can probably put 2 and 2 together.
Like Bob.
One of my talents as the freed Borg is sensor implant, multi-spectrum sensory array built into your body. You can use to scan area as if you're using a tricorder. Using this implant is a control plus science with a base difficulty of 0. Successes generates 1 bonus momentum, which must be used on obtain bonus. Obtain information. So, do I do the reason or the control?
I'll let you do control since you have the specialized implant.
Threat for an extra dice.
Okay. I'll just say it. I'm up to 18 threat right now. So
That's what I figured you were about at. Cybernetics is a focus?
Sure, because you're using your implant.
That spinal lat's gonna get a massive fucking boost.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, you get a momentum. And good news, Matic. There are no explosives of any type in your sickbay. Though you do detect from the drone that is kind of just taking up position as guard in your bay, it is in dire need of regeneration. Apparently, it forgot to regenerate or was not allowed to regenerate, so it's a little bit weaker than a normal drone. You don't know if this is done on purpose or not, but such is the state of your drone.
Oh, if that's the case, I probably would sense that. Hive mind on all that.
Right.
I would switch it out.
I'm just adding a little bit of intrigue.
Oh. Victus would probably switch it out at some point soon. Actually, no, he probably wouldn't because he just lost 2 drones.
Right, that's hence the intrigue. But yeah. I think that just leaves Los. Los, did you want to get anything out of the way, or should we skip ahead a little bit?
I guess I should check the bridge for bombs as well, obviously.
Okay, go right ahead.
Is there any way I can use security instead of science here?
I'll allow it because you are the tactical officer.
Alright. Would shipboard tactical systems apply?
I would say no, that's more like starship weaponry than it is interior scans.
Okay. What attribute should I use?
That's a good question. How about reason?
Alright, difficulty?
Also a 3. Let's be consistent.
I'm going to use 3 momentum to gain 2 extra dice.
Okay.
Two momentum? Okay.
No, 3 momentum used. Yeah, we're down to 1.
Alright. You do have bold for security, yes?
That's only if I use threat.
Oh, so we gotta have that complication then. Alright.
Mm-hmm. Am I allowed to just give you 2 threat to avoid it?
I'm gonna say I have 18 threat. I'm gonna take the complication.
Darn.
So, good news. Bit of good news, bad news. Good news. There's no explosive device on the bridge. Bad news. In the process of scanning for this, you accidentally trip one of Tahan's leftover programs, and the bridge immediately seals itself and begins venting Atmo. And of course, Beitor is not pleased by this, and she says, "Report, what the hell is going on?"
That Batak Tahan set a trap. 1 moment. I'm going to erect a force field around the bridge to contain the Atmo.
Oh, it's already, like, it's a force field has gone up to prevent anyone from getting out, and Atmo is being drained.
All right. In that case, what kind of check would it be to stop this program?
This could be either a daring plus engineering or a daring plus security. And
Yeah.
the difficulty here would be a 3.
All right.
And
go
I
on.
will assist because I'm sure the ship's fighting them.
Okay. Yeah, the program is definitely very resilient.
Sorry, I got a beep in my headphones when you said what we're using.
That would be either daring plus engineering or daring plus security.
All right. I'm going to use 3 threat to, or I'll use 1 momentum and 2 threat to add 2 dice.
Okay.
Let's secure.
Are we losing our last momentum?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so that's already 3 successes from Los, which is what you needed. Let's see what Nog rolls, see if gets some momentum. Fortunately not.
No,
All right.
of course not.
So Los, you're a skilled enough security officer that you are able to stop the program and reverse it and basically unseal the bridge and the atmosphere restores. And as it happens, Beitor says, "I want a full sweep of that system, and I don't want another incident like this again. And if one does occur, you'll be spending time with Hylong."
Yes, my lord. And I'm already just swearing at the console, working through it.
Okay. All right. Any other scenes people wanted to get out of the way?
Well, I do have a new drone I have to work on, so I guess I'll work on him just to say I'm working on him. So
Okay.
I'm back to 7 at least.
Okay. All right. In that case, we are going to move on to the next sort of major scene. So, no momentum loss because you don't have any. But
Yeah.
so what happens is, let me find, because I got to find where I put this map. There it is. All right. Not the shuttle bay, but this one. All right. So, to kind of describe the map to you. So, the Pak'Mona slips out of warp into a red-tinted system. The double red giant stars kind of cast this baleful light across the system, enhanced by the nearby Matura-class nebula. Sensors detect the debris of several Klingon Burrell-class birds of prey, as well as the unmistakable power signature, or the trail of such, of what must be the ISS Enterprise. Of note, none of you are able to detect the Enterprise at the moment, but you could begin sensor sweeps to try and find it. So I believe, Nog, you're at Ops, so that would be
Yep.
your call.
No, we're definitely gonna scan for it, try to get a bearing at least, start chasing it down. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna run it.
All right, that would be a reason plus science from you, and a sensors plus science from the ship.
I can roll for the ship if we need that.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, look, something.
All right, that's 1 from the ship. Hey, you guys get a momentum. Look at that. Yeah, sure enough, you're able to determine, Nog, that the trail of the Enterprise seems to go behind one of the Class D planetoids in system. If you had to make an educated guess, they are currently lurking either behind the planet or above the planet's magnetic fields. Or magnetic poles, sorry.
My lord, I have detected what I believe is our prey. However, they're trying to hide on us like sneaky Romulan bastards they are.
Well then, Beitor says, I'd like you to open up a wideband frequency.
Very well, my lord. And I go ahead and open the channel at her request.
All right. So Baator says, "This is General Baator of the Klingon-Cardassian Alliance. We know you're here, you cowardly Ptah. Show yourselves, and perhaps we will allow some of you to live." And there's, about a 30 seconds of silence, but on the screen does appear a goateed Captain Picard of the Enterprise. And in case none of you have seen the latest Mirrorverse comic, the uniforms are such that none of them have sleeves. It is very similar to that of the kind that Kirk used in his first Mirrorverse episode. So they're all kind of wearing daggers. They all kind of have phasers on them. But otherwise, the bridge of the Enterprise looks very similar to like a normal Galaxy class bridge.
The picture that shows Picard rocking his guns.
Mm-hmm. That'd be the one.
Also, his guns.
Yeah.
That he shoots with.
So Ripped Picard kind of stands, does the Picard maneuver, and says, "General Baator, was it? I wish I could say it was a pleasure, but I can smell your stench from here." And Baator kind of snarls and says, "Watch your tone, Captain." And Picard just kind of laughs and says, "Or what? What are you going to do, fight me?" "I am very well considering it. But in the interest of fair play, I will once again give you the opportunity to surrender like the coward you are." And it is Picard's turn to laugh, and he says, "Oh no, we won't be doing any of that. I think it's time for you to understand that the Terran Empire is able to finally fight against you. I believe the saying is, you cowardly Ptah." And General Baator stands in anger and says, "Very well, I shall scatter your atoms across the system and then burn every single member of your crew that you hold dear." And Picard just kind of shrugs and says, "Ensign Shaw, cut off communications. I don't want to see this bitch on my screen anymore." And sure enough, the ensign does as told, and the communication line goes dark. And at about that same time, you all would detect that the ISS Enterprise is coming out from around the planet. And you guys have probably about 5 minutes of RP time before we jump into ship combat. So that'll give me time to mess with the turn order.
So I have an immediate question.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the Enterprise come around the planet, are all parts of it there? Is the saucer separated? Is the captain's yacht gone?
All of it is there, yes.
All right, I will, General.
Yes, what is it, Los?
From the battle reports from the Enterprise's last combat with us, they used a divide and conquer strategy. We should be on the lookout for their saucer to separate and their captain's yacht to provide annoyance. Well,
very well. The moment they decide to try this separation tactic, I want a full contingent of fighters launched from our bay. And yeah, I think that's everyone. All right. Anybody else have a action they want to have take place?
I want to supercharge the weapons.
Okay. I forget, how do I want to handle this? We'll do it the same way we did with Matic way back when he did it. If you want to roll me we'll say a daring plus engineering, difficulty 2. And if you're successful, I will basically give you an extra challenge die of damage on a successful attack.
I'm using the momentum to get an extra dice.
Okay.
Or modifications. That's my focus.
Okay. Ooh, that is a complication. Yeah, this is interesting. So the complication.
Take the threat.
No, no.
Because he needs more.
So the good news is you'll get a momentum. So you retain the one that you had. The bad news is you inadvertently pull power from the shields. So you're going to start down to 2 minus your normal shields. And again, the blue bar is your shields, and the orange bar is your power.
So I obviously noticed this on my console that our power or shields are down to like 80% or 90%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say something to him. So I would open a basically open a comm down to Victus and basically lay into him and call him several dirty names that mean very, very evil things.
The moment he says Victus, I know it's his voice, I just cut comms.
Okay.
Wait, you cut the comm system or you just turn it off?
I just turn off my comms. I was like, nope, nothing to listen to. I will radio up, though, to Baitor. It's like, I've increased power to weapons.
Very well.
And as I yell out, as soon as he's done with that, and cut power to our shields, our defenses.
Baitor kind of growls and says, "Very well, Victus. This had better be good."
How far are my quarters from the bridge?
I could say you would either be on the bridge at this point, or it would take you a minor action to get to the bridge, or to and from the bridge. Sorry.
And you said we had about 5 minutes of RP?
Yes.
General, I believe I recognized one of those crewmen from Tahan's files. Permission to review them in my quarters.
I need you at tactical. Whatever you need to review can be done here.
Yes, my lord. And I'll just start going through those again just to see if I can remember anything about find anything from Tahan's files.
Okay.
And obviously the only people I recognized from that were Picard and some Ensign Shaw.
Correct. I mean, yeah, you would probably recognize Mirror Riker and Mirror Counselor and...
Right, but okay. So I want to look through Tahan's files to see what he knew about them.
Pretty much what you'd expect from the Mirrorverse versions. Picard is a very ruthless individual who has taken the ISS Enterprise by force. He is a skilled tactician. And then you get some small little tidbits about the others, like, Riker is an amazing pilot. You know that the counselor is maybe some sort of relationship with Riker, things of that nature.
Okay, and I assume Mirror Picard also has like a Picard maneuver?
Of sorts, yes.
Okay, I'm just preparing myself for the battle then.
Okay. All right. Let me ask, does anyone need a break, or can we keep on going?
Keep going.
Good.
Okay. In that case, Matic, before I forget, did you have anything you wanted to do before combat breaks out?
He wants to be quiet.
No, I
Oh, there he
mean,
is.
I'm the doctor. I don't really do much until medical stuff starts happening.
Okay. I always wanted to make sure that the opportunity's there. Alrighty. In that case, we are going to engage in ship combat. So if you need to look up what actions you can take, they start on page 220 of the core PDF. As you can see, there is a dot guide to the actions you have left during this round. If you choose to do, say, 2 helm actions during your turn, or not during your turn, but during the round, the second helm action will be at a added +1 difficulty, and that goes for all stations on the ship. There's also the Starship Combat Momentum Spend table up there in the upper right if you need it. But otherwise, we're going to start with the Pak'Mona, because that's what happens first. So General Baitor is going to say... oh god, what is her name? Borel. Borel, I want you to get us close to them. bring us within disruptor range. And Burrell, of course, says, of course, at once. And would get the Enterprise right about here. So it was at extreme range before, but it is now at long range. And out of curiosity, do any of you have something that lets you keep the initiative?
No.
I don't believe so.
No.
All right. In that case, next up is the Enterprise.
But
and
we could
oh, go ahead.
spend 1 momentum and buy 1 threat.
I don't know. Do you want to do it? Yay? Nay?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I will. I'll do it. Go to the
Okay.
bridge, and I'll scan the Enterprise for weakness.
Okay. That is, of course, a control plus science, difficulty 1. The ship sensors will assist with sensors plus security.
All right. And then another threat for a 3rd dice.
Okay. Yay, all the threat.
Team dynamics, interspecies relations,
Nah.
xenobiology.
Nah.
You're scanning the ship.
Maybe their crew's the weakness.
Unfortunately,
Maybe the
not.
ship's pregnant. That was a weird episode.
Oh boy. All right. Well, let's see what you roll. All right. Who's rolling for the ship?
Victus will do it.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead for it.
What's the focus for this?
The ship is sensors plus security.
Oh, I was like, why don't I see sensors on the ship? But I'm looking at Victus. Sensors plus security.
Mm-hmm.
And ship always has focus.
All right. So actually, I forgot to read completely. So because it is at long range, the difficulty is a 3, but you got 3, so it succeeds. So your next attack, not only does it now have a bonus D20, or a bonus challenge die, it now has the Piercing 2 quality. And if you buy any bonus D20s for the attack, it will add +1 challenge die damage. So you're set up to do a lot of damage if your next attack hits. So yeah, now it is the Enterprise's turn. And the Enterprise is going to do something very similar. They too are going to lock on, or try to scan you for weakness. Survey says they in fact do. So they too will now have the added benefits of scanning for weakness. So narratively, both of you kind of lock on to what you assume are weak areas of each other's ships, but nobody's fired yet. But that could change very shortly. The Pak'Mona turn is up, and go ahead.
General, photon torpedoes are ready.
Very well, fire a full salvo at them.
Aye. So that's difficulty 3, and we already get an extra. If we buy more D20s, we get extra challenge dice.
Correct.
Right.
I want to point out we have fast targeting. Let's target the weapons.
I like that. Yeah. So let's target the weapons. And we don't have any momentum, right?
No, you do not.
All right. I'm going to give you 5 threat
Jesus.
for
Okay.
3 extra D20s, and 3 extra challenge dice.
Okay.
Oh, and 1 extra threat for your bolt for security, right? For a reroll.
Well, this is firing
No, I
weapons
don't-
as a security.
Yeah. Yeah. I get to reroll one of those. And then I've got some values to use if I need to reroll more things.
How much threat do you have right now?
I have 24
much.
threat. I have
Right.
24 threat.
Control security, right?
It is control security, and the ship assists with weapons plus security.
So I'm rolling 5 dice on my end.
Yes, I believe so.
I'll roll for the ship.
Okay.
Okay, Raj.
And shipboard tactical will apply as my
Oh yeah,
focus.
yeah.
Oh,
This applies.
Also, the power boost I did to the. Oh, that's only. What is that affecting?
All right,
The
I'm going to
damage.
reroll that D20.
All right, so let's see what the reroll is. 16. Hey, it's not a complication. All right, so let's do
That's
some-
also a success. So
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes. So we get 3 momentum.
Actually, no, that's
Seven.
That's 7 successes. So you get 4 momentum, yeah. And
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
let me double check your photon damage.
Base is 6. So
All right, so let's do math here. So you bought 3 die, so that's
So
another
9.
3 challenge die. I gave you 1 because you put more power into the weapons, so that's now 10 challenge die. They have, because it is a salvo, that's another +1 damage, not a challenge die, but it's flat +1. And it also grants the spread effect. Good to know.
right.
Um,
And this is piercing 2.
and this is piercing too. So yeah, go ahead and let's see how much damage you do.
And vicious 1. Okay.
Are you rolling a challenge dice or am I?
I'll roll.
I say we
Alright.
spend 2. I say we spend 2 momentum to get 2 on penetration, so it gets rid of 4 of their resistance.
Oh,
And
we're already getting through 4.
Yeah, so go through another 4 to go through 8. That way we
Well,
should go through all their resistance.
She should be
I've
a
got-
size 6.
So yeah, I've got 5 zeros, so I'm gonna use 1 momentum to reroll 5 of those.
Okay.
Are we doing the 2 for extra piercing?
Well, we'll see how many of them are effects.
Okay.
I don't think you get vicious on torpedoes. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's the quantum torpedoes.
Yeah, that's quantum torpedoes.
All right, so now we're sitting at 11, 12 damage plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 effects. So we're getting through 10 resistance.
I believe so.
And then spreads hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 systems.
Yeah. Let's see. I have to do some math here. Okay. Hi, dog.
Oh, also high yield is a thing that's in play right now.
Oh yeah. That's kind of what I'm checking here. All right. So, you narratively, the Pak'Mona fires a deadly salvo of green photon torpedoes at the Enterprise, and they slam into the Enterprise's shields, and does in fact cause 2 breaches.
We're targeting weapons.
Yeah, targeting weapons. So let me deal with shields first. So that did a grand total of 12 damage because you got rid of all the resistance. Let's see what else. So it's suffering 2 breaches. And 2 breaches to the weapons means what? Let me look it up. It is a scale 6, so it hasn't been damaged yet. So the impact is... whenever the weapon system suffers 1 or more breaches, it disrupts those functions temporarily until the tactical officer performs the Restore Minor action. The ship cannot make any attacks, nor can make any tasks that would involve the ship's weapons. Alright, so you've temporarily disrupted the weapon systems of the Enterprise.
Where did the spreads go?
That's what I am figuring out now. Let's see.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Let's see. Roll me, I'll let you, since it's your attack. Roll me a d20. A 5. That would be engines. Okay. Engines breach. Whenever the engines suffer 1 or more breaches, it disrupts. The ship loses 2 power immediately. Okay. Yeah, so the ship will in fact lose 2 power. So yeah, you also kind of splash the damage from this photon torpedoes into the engines, and again, it momentarily disrupts those systems. So very nice opening salvo. However, it is now the Enterprise's turn. And for the Enterprise's turn, they are going to respond in kind and fire a salvo at you. And I'm going to spend a metric fuck ton of threat here to basically give them full die, as well as allowing their tactical officer to re-roll any zeros. So I'm just gonna do several rolls here. Let me check. 1 second. Theirs is a 15, and I want under 4. All right. So 5d20, and I'm looking for anything. Okay, they're going to re-roll one of those 19s just to see if they get some threat. They do indeed. So I think they actually get back most of that threat. Yes. So this salvo will indeed be hitting you. They will also burn some threat to do full piercing on you as well. You know.
I thought the weapons were down.
They used a restore minor action.
Minor action, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's only when you get to like actual like 3+ breaches, because you're both are scale 6, that you have to do actual repairs. But anyway, let's see how much damage the Enterprise does do.
It's been an honor trying to kill you guys aboard this ship, so it's been nice knowing you.
All right, so I have to do math here. All right, so it bought 3 die, so that's 10 challenge die. It had... all right, so I think this is going to be pretty much the same thing that you guys rolled, but let's see. It is going to re-roll those zeros.
Mommy.
All right, so that is a grand total of 14 damage to the Pak'Mona, which I believe is not only a breach, but it also gets through your shield, so that's 2 breaches. So you have no more shields and 2 breaches. Let me roll for where this hits you. An 11. Happens to be structure. Alright, so you're going to suffer 3 breaches to structure. And when that happens... the vessel suffers fires and minor hull breaches somewhere on the ship, forcing areas to be evacuated and sealed off. This makes it more problematic to reach parts of the ship in need of repair, increasing the complication range of all tasks to repair the engineering systems by 2. This also reduces the ship's resistance by 1, and the difficulty to repair this is 3. In addition, I need to roll for a random character to see if they would be injured.
Quick question.
Yes.
Does that damage get affected by our resistance at all? The 14, does it go down by our resistance?
I spent momentum so that your resistance meant nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, basically the thing you did to them, they did to you.
Okay.
But let me roll my D8 to see which NPC or you guys might be affected. A 4. Well, Nogue, it is your lucky day. Your console basically explodes on you, and you have the opportunity here. You can either spend 2 momentum to avoid the injury, or you can spend a point of determination, and you can avoid the injury as well. So either you're spending either. And if you do not do either of these spends, you are considered to have a lethal injury. So the doctor would have to come up and basically stabilize you before the scene ended, or you would die.
Send him to engineering.
We've got 3 momentum.
Well, we're going to need that. I can spend a determination. I do have a value empire before honor.
Mm-hmm.
So I might look like a freaking total doofus with like pieces hanging off, but I'd basically fight through the pain, so I'll go ahead and do the determination point.
All right, so you stay up, and Baator does look back and says, "Report, are you okay?"
My lord, I will only die when you tell me it's allowed. And I continue working like a beast.
All right. So, next up is the Pak'Mona. Let's see what you have left. You have internal systems and command.
Command me to shoot! Command me to shoot!
That's exactly what she's going to do. So Baator says, "Los, target the nacelles. I want to do as much damage to them as they did to us."
Did you say their engines?
That's a good question.
I thought I heard nacelle.
Nacelles. So I'm going to let you decide whether you do either engines or structure.
We already hit their engines once, right?
With a spread effect, yes.
Okay, so it's how many breaches on engines? I know it's 2 on weapons.
It is 1 breach on engines.
Okay, yeah, I will do as ordered. We have 3 momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll use that for 2 dice, and then I'll use 3 threat for the 3rd die.
Okay.
We don't still get any bonuses from scan for weakness, right?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, maybe I won't do the. I'll do this instead.
Mm-hmm.
I'll only use 2 of our momentum and give you 1 threat, and I'm only adding 2 dice.
Okay. Are you firing a salvo or just 1 torpedo?
The salvo doesn't increase the difficulty; it just gives you more threat, right?
It gives me 2 threat, and it adds +1 to the attack damage and the spread effect.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do a salvo. So I'm rolling 4 dice.
Okay. Let me roll for Beitor's assist. Apparently I didn't put in her presence plus command. 1 second. General Beitor, her presence plus command is a 15. All right, so we want to see below a 15. Oh, she rolled a complication.
Wait, I didn't roll nearly enough dice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll 3 more.
Okay. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention before you do roll. I am going to make the complication range a 16 to 20 here.
Okay.
Because I've got threat and I got to use it.
Good question.
Yes.
As a miner, am I able to restore shields?
No, that is a full action to restore shields.
All right, so wait, how many successes are we sitting at right now?
You are currently sitting at the 3 you need.
Okay. I did get 2 19s.
Okay, so that's 2 complications.
Well, I get I can use a determination to reroll both, but I think bold only lets me reroll 1.
Correct.
I will reroll 1.
All right.
All right, so we get 1 momentum and 1 complication.
Mm-hmm. So the complication, I'll think about it, but go ahead and roll damage.
So it's 7 now because of the salvo?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
That doesn't have Pierce anymore, though, right?
No, it does not. Unless
Okay,
you spend your penetration momentum now. Which technically I think you have to do before the roll, but fuck it, why not?
Oh. Yeah, I'll spend the 1 momentum for penetrate of 6. And that's...
Well, I think it's not based on effects, it's just a flat 2, but let me read. Yes, it's 2 resistance that you ignore per each momentum.
Oh, I see. Let's use the other one for that, too.
Okay.
So we're getting through 4?
Yeah, you're getting through 4.
Okay, and...
You do +1 damage because of the spread, so you do a total of 9.
All right, I'd like to give you 2 more threat then. 1 for the last 2 points of resistance.
Okay.
And a 3rd point to get 10 damage, because that's roll of 5 twice, right?
You are going to get 2 breaches, but because their shields go poof.
Okay, then I'll only give you the 1. I don't need to add the 10th damage then.
Okay. Alrighty, so again, you fire another salvo of torpedoes at the ISS Enterprise, and it impacts the 3rd nacelle. And again, are you aiming for engines or structure?
I was aiming for engines.
Okay. In that case, let me check, because you get 1 breach because you were over 5, so that's 1 breach. You get high yield, so that's 2 breaches. You got rid of shields, that's 3 breaches. So that's a grand total of 4 breaches to the engines, which is quite significant. Engines damaged. Difficulty of all tasks that involves the ship's engines is +2. Ship loses 1 power at the end of every round until it is repaired. The difficulty to repair is a 3. All right. So yeah, you do quite a bit of damage to the Enterprise, but it is of note, both of your shields are down at the moment.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
It still loses 2 power because it got impacted, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's lost 4 power by this point?
correct.
I have a plan.
Are we on the same wavelength right now?
Maybe.
Oh, their shields are down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it is the Enterprise's turn, and what the Enterprise is going to do is a little bit reckless. But let me double check to make sure I can do this. Yes. So your helm officer reports, sir, they're coming at us at ramming speed, and let's see. Let me roll for the ship. Did I not really put in? All right, I'll just have to do it manually. Okay. So assisted by the ship's engines plus con. Okay. What is the engines plus con of the ship? Engines plus con is a 13. All right. 1 success. Excellent. So they get the successes they need. Go ahead.
I thought because their engines were damaged, everything's a +2 difficulty now.
Oh, you are completely correct. In that case, let me spend some of my threat to give them some extra die to roll.
Let's see. I'm spending 27 threat, and
I have so much threat, I gotta use it.
There's a hard cap at 5 dice.
Yeah. So good news. They get 3 more successes, so they get what they need, and I get a threat back. Nice.
We gotta eat through that threat somehow.
All right, so here's what happens. The ISS Enterprise begins careening at the Pak'Mona at ramming speed. And because let me see, the attack inflicts a number of challenge die equal to 2 plus the ramming ship's scale. So a total of 8. And this has Vicious 1 and Spread, and the Devastating quality. I'll have to look up Devastating in a moment. However, the ship also suffers a number of challenge die equal to the ship's scale with Spread, so basically the same thing. So let's roll first for the amount of damage the Enterprise does to you guys.
just curiosity,
Yes.
how fast do they get to move in one turn?
They can go up to long range, so they can go right up to you.
So they can move 3 zones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice check,
I'm
though.
still learning. I'm still learning this stuff, so I'm absorbing too.
Yeah. Oh,
This
yeah.
is probably the least used thing in Starship Combat.
Yeah. All right. They're gonna re-roll that 0. All right. So that is 7, and then it's Vicious 1, so 8, 9, 10 damage. And it's Devastating. Let me look up Devastating.
Engineering tests to repair damage caused by this weapon increased in difficulty by 1.
Okay.
Sorry, was the difficulty increased by 2 because of the distance?
Yes, I was calculating all of that.
Okay. We dead.
So yeah, you guys are gonna suffer 2 breaches. Well, let's roll. Let's
Just passing our resistance.
yes, after your resistance, because of you only have so much resistance right now. I think you have what? 7?
9.
8?
We're down by 1 at least.
Yeah.
We're at 7, then on kind of a blade of hull. We should be at 9, then we're down 1, so we're at 8.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I'm gonna have to spend more threat here to get the damage I want, which is fine. You know, gives me threat spends. But let's see what system you do suffer the breach on. Hey, it's structure again.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
So this is interesting because your shields are down, so that's an automatic breach. Your damage is enough to give you a breach. High yield is another breach, so that's 3 breaches. You already had, what, 3 breaches to structure? So you are now at 6 breaches to structure. And I believe that means you are now at disabled. So let's see what disabled structure does. The vessel has suffered many fires and serious hull breaches, which is to be expected when a freaking Galaxy class runs into you, as well as sections losing life support. The extreme disarray of the ship makes it extremely difficult to make repairs, making the complication range of all engineering tasks by 3, and the difficulty of all tasks +1. This also reduces the ship's resistance to half, rounding down, of its normal value. The difficulty to repair this, including all penalties, is 5. And this could be replaced by an extended task, but you're not doing an extended task during combat. So yeah, the Enterprise careens into you, and somehow the bridge survives from being hit directly, but generally the entire neck portion of the Negvar class sort of crumples and crashes inwards. But the Enterprise does not get away unscathed. It too will suffer a breach of its own. And we'll say it's to their structure as well. So at this point, both of your ships are kind of listing in space away from one another, with multiple hull breaches and fires and all sorts of injuries that are going on. But yeah, at this point, we come back around to the Pak'Mona. And I believe at this point, the only one who hasn't acted is Victus. So Victus, what's your play?
I'm beaming myself and the drones all to the bridge of the Enterprise.
Okay, let's double check that.
Oh, and bringing our good doctor along too.
Okay. All right, that would be a control plus engineering, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
Sensors plus engineering.
The difficulty, would you be doing this from a transporter pad or not?
I guess I could move to a transporter pad, yeah.
Okay. The reason I ask is because if you're not on a pad, it increases by 1. So you being on a pad makes the total difficulty a 3.
Okay.
And it looks like you got the assist from the Pak'Mona.
Yay! I pull out an assist finally.
Let's see. And I'm dealing with inferior technology to make this beaming happen. Right?
I mean, by Borg standards, yeah.
Sweet. Alright. And I'm gonna spend a threat to get an extra dice, just in case.
Okay.
So that should have me at 3 dice done.
Yes.
Alright, well, I beam on over.
Okay. So, yeah, sure enough, you beam over, and the bridge of the Enterprise is immediately beset by Borg drones. And I don't know, how do I want to handle that?
Oh, there's more. Determination.
How
Resistance
many drones
is
did you
futile.
take with you?
So I would have to leave one behind, so I have the doctor with us.
Okay.
So I have me for John Maddock drone. So 1 of 8, 2 of 8, and whatever else fills up the pad.
Okay. So there's total of 8 Borg drones, I think. Yeah, there's 8 drones on the bridge of the Enterprise now, and combat will break out. So what happens during the Enterprise's turn is they spend the entire time fighting off Borg drones, and I'm just going to roll a blanket melee roll here.
Hello?
GM,
Yes.
hold on.
Yes,
GM.
what's up?
Determination.
Determination to keep the Victus is spending determination to keep the initiative.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go right ahead. Sorry. Ignore my roll.
Resistance is futile. I'm going right for Picard.
Okay. Let's use that same roll. Picard has 2 successes, so you need 2 or more successes to get Picard.
Alright, so daring, I'm going to use threat to give you So I can do the bold reroll.
All right. I'm going to make the complication range a 17 to 20.
Okay. And I'm going to go after him with a melee attack.
Okay.
I'm going to assist by firing a disruptor at Picard, and so it either he gets shot or he goes to Victus.
Okay.
I'm also going to give you 2 more threat for a 3rd dice.
All right. And Los will resolve your thing in a moment. All right, yeah. You are indeed able to hit Picard. What are you hitting him with?
My arm blade. Let me roll the damage for that.
Okay.
So let's see. That is 6.
Does it have vicious?
Yes, vicious 1, intensity, and deadly.
All right. So here's the question: are you keeping it deadly, or are you keeping him alive? Because if you don't make it not deadly, then you will kill him right now.
How about this? Could I make him Locutus?
I don't think I want to give you full assimilation tubes because that's a different attack.
Okay. Then I'll keep it deadly because it is deadly. It's just a straight blade.
Okay. How would you slice him up then?
Same way I did to the Cardassian, but I'm gonna stick it underneath his ribcage and then lift him up, and the blade tip's gonna poke at the top of his head as I hold him up in the air for everyone on the bridge to see.
Okay. So of course the bridge is in very much disarray at this point, and I think it's probably safe to say that you guys are probably out of turn order at this point. But yeah, first we did have the Los action. So Los, if you would care to roll me a control plus engineering, and of course the ship will assist with sensors plus engineering. This is going to be a difficulty 3.
Oh, and can I get all of the targets?
Yes.
Okay. So it's difficulty 3?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any momentum. I will go ahead and pay 3. Yeah, I'll pay 3 threat. And there's no way I can use security. It's got to be engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I do have focus, so I'll roll 4 dice.
Okay.
It's control, right?
Yes.
What is he doing?
You'll find out in a second. I see green. Yeah,
that is 5 success.
So you get 3 momentum. Go ahead and roll for the ship too, since it's your action. Sensors and engineering from the ship.
Yep.
All right, so you have 4 momentum. So what happens is those of you on the Enterprise notice one of the ensigns beaming away, and those of you on the Pak'Mona notice Los also beaming somewhere.
All right, I would like to use my determination to take an additional action.
Okay.
The value I'm going to use is never leave a man behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I've used that. And I will pull out from my pocket a small palm-sized device created by John Maddock. And I will plug it into the transporter, and it will beam us back to the Prime universe.
Okay. So
what is my difficulty?
Yeah, the difficulty here. I'm going to make this a difficulty 4. So, yeah, you have 4 momentum and threat to work with here. I will say the complication range is going to be 16 to 20.
That's fair. And to be fair, I want to split up my use of momentum and determination here.
Mm-hmm.
Or my momentum and threat. So I'll use, because I am backstabbing the Mirrorverse characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll use, because I need how much total for 3 extra dice?
You would need 6 total.
And the ship's assisting, right?
The ship is... Well, no, the ship isn't assisting because this is a handheld device.
Okay. In that case, I will go ahead and use three momentum and 3 threat.
Okay.
So those listening along at home, Gyaralos is actually from the Prime universe.
He was here for a mission, and he's about to get away with said mission.
Oh, complication.
All right, you get what you need, but here's the complication. Los, as you try to beam away, the Borgified John Maddock does not go with you. You only take yourself and Shaw.
Okay.
But yeah, for sake of argument, Tahan, you are more or less now out of the adventure, but I will let you run Hailong for the moment, so that way you have someone to play.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So it's at this point. Go ahead.
Okay. So on the bridge of the Enterprise, I'm assuming we've assimilated at least the bridge crew, right?
Right.
Savia's gonna walk up to Victus and stand in front of him. Victus, it's time for us to rebuild the collective. I'll take the assimilation. Let's get rid of these idiots over there.
I do want to keep the Serta Draco. I've always been fond of lizards.
She'll be a good plaything for us.
I will look to the drones. One command to beam Hailong, and the other one to open fire on the Pak'Mona.
Okay. Let's resolve the attack on the Pak'Mona first. The Enterprise. Let me double check. So, the drone. Let me double check the drone stats. All right, the drone is going to be rolling 2 die, both under 12. The only crit range is a 1. So roll me 2d20, both less than 12. And then, well, that's a 20.
Oh, no, that's a 1, sorry. It's a 19 and a 1.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so that is going to be 2 successes. I'm assuming, well, which weapon of the Enterprise are you using? Are you using the photon? Are you using the phaser array or the underslung phaser cannon?
Oh, the underslung cannon.
Okay. In that case, you have 2 bonus momentum to spend as you wish, in addition to the 2 momentum you generated. No, actually, you didn't generate any momentum. So this is a total of 12 challenge die.
Jesus.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll those challenge die. All right, so a grand total of 10.
Just for shits and giggles, 1 threat to reroll the zeros.
No, we have the momentum there.
Yeah, you've got the momentum.
Oh yeah, or momentum to reroll the zeros.
Yeah, let's use that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros I'm rerolling.
All right, so that's a grand total of 14 damage. Would you have been aiming for anything in particular? Keep in mind that the Pak'Mona does currently have 6 breaches to its structure.
I'd aim for the spine of the ship.
Okay.
Structure.
So in that case, what happens is so much damage here that anyone from, say, the neck up, so right where the neck meets the rest of the ship, kind of right there in the middle, it just is torn away from the ship and exploded. So everyone on the bridge, including General Beitor, is immediately killed in the ensuing explosion. And everyone else on the Pak'Mona, or what is left of it, begins getting to escape pods. However, on the quote-unquote Pak'Mona's turn, Hi Long. You've prepared for such a situation. You too have a Mirrorverse transporter that you acquired from the certain Bajoran, one Kira Nerys on DS9, or Tarak Nor as it's called in the Mirrorverse.
I'm going to do anything I can to find Jeralos and kill him.
All right, let's do it narratively because I think that'll be more interesting. Mirror Hylong beams away. And yeah, at this point, I believe the only remaining individuals that are alive from the players are both Matic and Victus. So you two, how would you like to end the adventure? Kind of give me how you resolve all this.
Before Victus assimilates Savia, she's going to put out a wideband frequency she's going to put out a frequency to everyone on the ship who's running away and escaping. This is your chance to join the collective. If you do not, you will end up dead here. And then she'll close that, walk over to Victus and nod her head, and she'll wait to be assimilated.
Okay.
As she's doing that, I am telling the drone at helm to set a course for the nearest transponder that I think could be around. We're going to try and get back to the Delta Quadrant. And as she comes up, I'll assimilate her.
All right. So the kind of external shot as the camera quote unquote pulls away is of a very battered ISS Enterprise moving at impulse away from the Pak'Mona, or what's left of the Pak'Mona, as the once glorious flagship of the Klingon Empire explodes as if it were nothing. And yeah, that concludes our Mirrorverse episode.
I'd like to think that even a week later, the Enterprise is already getting covered with Borg components.
Yeah, this was an interesting session.
You traitors!
You know the funny thing though is the moment that the Enterprise rammed the Pak'Mona, I fucking sent a message to Crowley. I was like, "Hey, their shields are down. Let's beam over there real quick and take it over."
My response was actually, we both noticed that, and I was like, beam me, beam me, beam me, beam me.
I was so nervous when y'all did that. I'm like, I need to get Shaw right now.
You traitorous!
Oh, good.
Leave me behind and blow up with that useless general. Oh man!
Los likes Nogue. He didn't know Nogue was gonna die.
Oh,
I'm
man.
glad Nogue died.
Oh god. Alright, so players, of course, stick around for some after session things, but for those of you watching on Twitch and or YouTube, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and we will be returning to normal next week. But for now, see you later. Bye-bye.